Hey everybody, welcome back to my Eurovision React Review channel. So, luckily, OGAE, the official Eurovision fan club, are keeping us kind of on the Eurovision 2022 trains. We don't have to come off it just yet. So they've just released the songs that are going to be competing for the OGAE Second Chance competition. Now, from my knowledge, I believe each OGAE fan group in each country selects the song from their national final which they want to put forward. That's my understanding. Because years gone by, I've always been kind of surprised the songs that have been selected because they just sometimes a bit left field in regards to like fan favourites or my personal favourites. They seem to be the obvious choice to get selected to go forward for second chance. So I don't know the songs that have been selected for this year's competition. So that's the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video isn't to rank them yet. The purpose of this video is to actually check what songs got selected. So I'm just looking at last year's. So I can see last year there were only 14 songs, but I guess that's because last year was the year where obviously a lot of the national broadcasters basically gave the ticket to the 2020 entry because obviously that was cancelled due to COVID. So that makes total sense. Because I think there's well over 20 this year, but there only seems to be 14 this year. Like, because of this channel, I've really engaged with the national finals this year. So my knowledge of the songs of national finals this year is the best it's ever been. So I will be slightly embarrassed if I don't recognise some of these songs. But I'm sure the ones that I've got selected are the fan favourites, the popular ones. So let's have a look. Let's see which songs have made it through to OGAE's Second Chance Contest 2022. Firstly, I just want to give a shout out to Mizja Jorovicia. Ultimately, the majority of Eurovision YouTubers certainly owe a huge debt to this person because, yeah, they make our life so much more easier. So luckily, Mizja Jorovicia has done a recap video of all the songs. So let's check them out. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Don't wanna cry, all night, all night, all night, all night. This, in fact, put the link above. I did my kind of, when I was in Gran Canaria, I did my kind of top 40 national final songs. It was a continuation of a project that I started on TikTok that didn't go so well. It originally started off with top 58. And so I think from 41 to 58, I was able to do TikTok videos and then it stopped. So then I did one video doing my top 40. And this song is, where did it come in my top 40? Definitely top 5. Fourth, I think. I still am with the argument that fundamentally Kalisz Orchestra, had this song got selected, I think Ukraine still probably would have won, but I don't think we would have seen the televote as high as we saw it. And I think this wouldn't have done as high in the juries. I still think we would be living in a world where Ukraine would have won, but it wouldn't have been the landslide that we saw. This song was this my personal favourite going into Vidbir? I think it was. And then obviously I saw the staging and I was like, oh, ROXOLANA, you've let me down, girl. Vidbir was a good national final. It would have been for me if I had to choose. It would have had to have been either this or bossy, bossy, but this was the right one. This is the right one. Just wasn't the best staging, ROXOLANA. I think that's what I really missed from Eurovision this year, a really good ethnic ballad. I know Montenegro gave us, to some extent, an ethnic ballad this year, but I definitely did miss, I normally get behind an ethnic ballad. This wasn't my favourite in Dora 2022. I've said it many a time, I think, haven't I? It was Mia, a prosty. Forgive me. I wanna know. I can't sing. But I know, like, on the ground in Croatia, there was a lot of support with this song. And do you know what? Watching this song live, it certainly was elevated. It was one of the best stagings of Dora 2022. I would have gone for a prosty, but I can see why they've gone for Marko. Yeah. Fine. No listen now. final top 10 of... It's definitely top 15. This was my favourite of Melodifestivalen. This was the one that I was rooting for. I'm surprised they didn't go for Anders Bag. Bigger than the universe. I loved that song. That was my second favourite. Yeah, where did Cornelia Jacobs come in my... Was she third? I think she was third in my top 10 of Melodifestivalen. This was the right one. This is an absolute banger. This is a tune. Love it. Lovesick. La la la. La 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 lovesick. This was a bit of a shocker. I thought it would be Dora, right? Paranoia. That's in like my top 3 national final songs this year, period. I think this song was like 5th in my personal top 10 of Poland's national final songs. This is a strange choice. Either this or Anya, right? With Dokad. I'm not saying it right. Those two were tunes. Okay, Poland, sure. La 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 lovesick. I just make up my own lyrics because I don't speak Spanish. So unbelievably happy that this got the nod from Spanish OGAE. I thought that they would send Tanchigueras. So this is a bit of a surprise for me. A good surprise. As people who follow my channel know, that this was my favourite going into Benidorm Fest. But I was equally happy that Chanel had won. And obviously we know that I went on a complete journey with Chanel to the point where it became my favourite song of Eurovision 2022. But I love this song so much. And I'm obsessed with the Genesis version. If you haven't heard the Genesis version yet, check it out. So she released it on Spotify. I think she said it was basically the demo of Mamá, but it sounds so different. It to a point, it's very different in a way that we could credit it being its own song. The music video for this is insane. I don't know the rest of the songs coming up, but this probably, when I come to rank my OGAE Second Chance songs, this will probably be my favourite, because this is my favourite of the national final songs. And again, the video should be posted above. You can check that out. It's my number 1. I'm surprised they didn't pick Tanchigueras, from what I know. Blinded dreamers. Yeah, when I did my personal favourites of Israel's national finals, this was my favourite. It hasn't aged as well, actually. This wasn't even in my top 58. I think the highest song from Israel in my top 58 was sugar, what's her name? Inbal with the Zaza song. Loved that song. Like, I was a late bloomer to that song. But to be honest, out of all of the, how many songs were there? 6. This was the most musically credible song, and this was the best song. And if this is based on a song contest, this is the right song. And I also love the fact that out of all, no, Shane, if there was 4 contestants, Shane, there was 8 songs, you donut. There were 8 songs. And I love the fact that Eli, he co-wrote his songs. I think out of all 4 contestants, he was the only one to co-write his songs. And this is a good tune. It would have been very interesting had this have gone forward to see how well this would have done. Because, yeah, this, I guess, is the complete opposite of what Michael gave us with I Am. Which I like, by the way. Love is still there, but I'm loving me. I am ready to fly for the sky. I love this song. It's just camp, right? I mean, as soon as the Irish songs got released, first of all, there was the whole great Ireland 6 mediocre songs, including Brooke at that time. That would seem to be the obvious favourite, Brooke's dance, and obviously that's taken on its own legacy since we've now seen that on the Turin stage. can't remember now in my top 6 where this featured. It was either second or third. I know my favourite was Janet, Ashes of Yesterday, and that still continues to be the case, I think. Oh, I don't know, Shane, you probably do actually now prefer That's Rich, to be fair. But in regards to national final songs, I probably would have put through Janet, Ashes of Yesterday, but this is a good one. Both this one and Janet made it into my top 58. But yeah, Janet was higher. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I can't remember how they judge these. I think the groups get together, don't they? So it'll be interesting to see what clips they use, because bless Rachel, like, the song is good, but there is that note, bless her, that she struggled with. So it'll be interesting to see what clips they use to judge this. But this is a good tune. This has aged well for me. We are free. Moli, ciao ciao. Ciao ciao. It's interesting because with San Remo, I didn't actually really listen to many of the songs before watching that final that went on till like 2 a.m. And actually remember watching it with friends, and we were all kind of a little bit disengaged to a point. There was only kind of a handful of songs that stood out, but I didn't feel the need to go away and start downloading loads. I had no choice to engage with this song because straight after San Remo, you couldn't move from shop to place to bar to cafe without this song blaring out. So this song, like, whether I liked it or not, was shoved in my face. So as a result, for me, this is the best one, other than obviously Brividi. This is the best song from San Remo, and this featured in my top 40. It was in my top 20, I think. It's a good tune, but like I said, this got forced down my throat. I had no choice but to embrace it, living in Italy. Ciao, ciao. It's quite interesting. I went back to watch this the other day because I remember having a conversation with the Balkan guy, Eurovision YouTuber, a friend whose name is Amir, and he, controversial or not, said that Sarajevo's staging is the best staging of any national final and Eurovision staging, and I was like, okay. And I went back to watch it, and do you know what? I agree. Like, the staging is on point. The amount of money, time, and effort that went into this package to try and get Sarajevo across the finish line. But no one saw Constructor coming. That's why I loved Serbia's national final this year. No one saw it coming. I mean, the performance is iconic, and I think this is probably going to do well. There's probably a little bit of, within the Eurovision fandom, amongst OGAE Eurovision fans, a little bit of justice for Sarajevo. And because she has previously done Eurovision before, there will be a lot of people probably wanting to support this. This was in my top 40, but come to think of it, what was my highest Croatian song? Croatian, Shane? Serbian song. Probably Zoya. Like, I think when I did my ranking, I think Zoya was like 4th. Sarajevo was my 1st at that time. Where was Constructor? 5th, I think. But for me, Zoya with Zoya has aged the best. I mean, like I said, I love a Balkan ballad, and I was really missing that from Eurovision this year. I mean, I get why this has gone forward. It would have been either this or Zoya when they were obviously deliberating, and it's, 50-50 for me. Both are great songs, but I think my personal preference is Zoya. Yeah. I think this probably might win. I mean, let's call it. Like, the one thing that I've not really talked about in this video is my impressions and opinions of the national finals this year. Like, when I did the 30-day challenge with Jordan, I said that my favourite national final this year was Benidorm Fest, which is true. But I mean, if we're talking about quality of songs in every song, then UMK probably has a slight edge. What was there, 7 songs in total, and any one of those songs could have easily gone through. In all seriousness, all of those songs would have gone through and been as competitive, I think, as the Rasmus. Now, this was my favourite of UMK, and in my top 40. Where does this rank? My top 10, definitely. I can't remember. Number 7, number 8. I love this song. It's quite interesting, actually, because actually some of the songs that have already been selected so far, there's a lot of female boppy numbers. And, you know, UMK had a spectrum of different music sounds and tastes, including C and Kicks. I'm surprised they didn't pick C and Kicks, but this is more kind of OJ Eurovision fan bait. So, wise move. This is a cracking tune. I love it. Yeah, so this is where I didn't really follow Romania. The Romanian national selections was happening at a time when there were a lot of national selections going on, and Romania picked their song when I was in Serbia, actually. The only song that I know other than Rus, I still have days where I can't get that song out of my head. But the only other song that kind of I'm aware of is a song that got knocked out quite early because, again, the Balkan guy, Amma, when we were in Serbia, he was like, listen to this song. At this point, it had already been knocked out. It was Aris. Is it Aris? Dozviadana, Russian Doll. No, Russian Spy, sorry. I don't know whether that's not been selected for a multitude of reasons, but I guess the connotations of the lyrics is probably not the best. But moreover, I guess it got knocked out quite early. Is it wise to pick a song going forward that got knocked out before the final? I don't know. That's a good tune. That's the only song in the Romanian national final that made it into my top 40. I can't remember where, 27, 28, I think it was, around there. I don't know this song, so I'm going to have to, obviously, when I come to do my kind of rankings of these songs, I'm going to have to go away and listen to this one, because first song, I'm not aware of. So Shane, stop trying to sing. This was my favourite. This was like the only one I was genuinely rooting for, because Czech Republic picked early, didn't they? And they had that whole weird selection where like no one knew when the final was, and they just did it without kind of really telling anyone. And I just remember either waking up or seeing something being like, We Are Domi has won. I mean, look, it took me a while, but I got onto the We Are Domi train very, very late. I got on it. When did I get on it? I think when I was in Turin watching the semi-final, and they ended that semi-final, and I was like, and just seeing the crowd feed off them and seeing the participants as well, because it was the last song, so everyone then obviously was in the green room, and people were just absolutely raving that song. And opening up Eurovision 2022 as well, when I was in the bar in Turin, everyone was just so lifted after song number 1. I got there in the end with We Are Domi. It took me a while. But this was my favourite song in Czech Republic. Greedy, Jazinki. This song is amazing, and she's such an interesting artist, actually. It's going to be interesting to see how this does, though, with OJ Eurovision fans. But I loved the aesthetics of this song and the general mood of this song. This was my favourite in the Czech Republic national final. So I was late to the party with this one. I went back and listened to all the songs like a week after Mauro won, before I then listened to Mauro. I like Zero. I do, in that video, I do say, I think I had 4 or 5 that I really liked, and I remember being very surprised how bad this song did in the final. It was like nearly, it was like 9th or something. I remember, is it Fado Bije who got knocked out? That kind of Portuguese sounding song, that was quite good. And the only other song I think I listened to from Portugal's national final, is it FF? That slow song, that ballad. I don't really listen to this song. I think I listen to FF. If I was going to choose it, I would have gone for FF. Is it FF? Let's go FF. If it's not, then someone will certainly correct me in the comments. This is San Marino, right? I vaguely remember her name. I don't know this song. But girl got pipes. I'm going to have to go away and listen to this song. I have no idea. Why is it Rest of the World when it's San Marino? Oh, my computer's frozen. I thought they'd go for Aminata because, like, you know, the OGAE Eurovision fan base are gonna lap up Aminata. I mean, this song was good. Where did it? I think this was like in my top 10 at Supernova. I think this was my 5th. I think Aminata was my 2nd. Obviously, City Zeni was my 1st. I think my 3rd was, is it Bujan's He, She, You and Me? It's interesting though, I don't think any of the songs from Supernova were in my top 58. Yeah, this seems a decent choice. It's fun. It's a fun number. Ooh. So yeah, my only kind of thing about this song I made a point about, which is kind of relevant even more now after Eurovision 2022, is it just sounds like Mika's relax, take it easy. I can't hit that note because God did not bless me with a singing voice. That was my only issue with this song. It's borderline similar to that, the tune. When I fall for you, I try keeping it inside. Oh, I lie where the voice is like. This was my favourite in Germany's national final, and then things kind of changed a little bit once I saw this live. Bless, is it Felicia? Either or. This song's amazing. This was in my top 30 national final songs of this year. It's a great tune, both in regards to the catchy melody, but also the lyrics. It's just the staging. But I think generally Germany's national final was just not good. There didn't seem to be a lot of time, money spent into it. Germany needs to think what they're going to do next year. But obviously the best thing about that final was Jamala's 1944, which was insane. But no, good choice. I hope this does well, because this is a decent song. Ooh. Turn this around. Turn this around. So this was my favourite song after... How many songs were in the final in the end? 6, I think, in Iceland. I think Sisters was my 3rd. But I had a real journey with Sisters, and right up to the semi-final, like, I was rooting for that to qualify. I think now, I mean, I don't really listen to this one very much. This was in my top 58, but I listen to Sisters all the time. This seems to be the obvious choice out of the songs in Iceland's national final. This was a good song. I think we can forget the kind of conversation like this, how would this have done over Sisters, because Sisters qualified, because it's just a beautiful song sung by 3 amazing talented ladies with a brother on a drum. But no, this is a good tune. Oh, that was it. Someone did say, when I was watching this, I was listening to the lyrics and I was like, did they just say what I think they said? And then someone said yes. And actually, moreover, someone else said, well, if this did get selected, they'd have to change the lyrics, because I think there are certain Italian laws which mean, like, saying certain things which they said would have been offensive to people, but I think it's illegal here. So it would have been quite interesting had it got selected. Turn this around. Oh, Fick. I mean, I was only thinking the other day about this channel being like, well, what am I going to do now until like December when Fick comes around? This does start off, and this will start off, hopefully, Eurovision 2023. There was only 2 songs, Ranella and this one, and I was like 90% Ranella, 10% this one. None of FIK's songs, Festivali Ikenges, I think that's what it is, yeah. None of those songs were in my top 58, including this one. I mean, is it worthy to even remotely say, would this song have done better than Ranella? Maybe, only because we were really lacking a kind of real ethno ballad, but there was a lot of ballads this year. I did read a comment somewhere saying that, like, if he had sorted out his vocals, this would have been given a decent revamp. It would have been easier to stage this one, I think, than Ranella's. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, going into Festivali Ikenges, it was a 2-horse race. The only ones that people were really talking about seriously winning that was Alban and Ranella. This doesn't surprise me that this has been selected. I've forgotten this song. I'm always scared to say anything about this song because actually there was a real following of this in the end, because this is the one that went into the super final with Subwoofer, wasn't it? I mean, look, my favourite from Melody Grand Prix, we know this, is Made of Glass. Made of Glass. Yeah, Made of Glass. I absolutely am obsessed with that song. That was my second favourite song this year out of all national final songs. I'm quite surprised Elsie Bay hasn't been given the nod, to be honest. I mean, I will be honest, I was saying earlier about UMK and Benidorm Fest. I think the other national final that was kind of stood out was MGP. I think the majority of the songs in that final were really, really decent. And I followed MGP. Like, I did a video for every single semi-final. I was really invested in MGP this year. I think that's why I'm quite surprised this one's been selected. But at the end of the day, if you're going to do this in regards to, well, which song came second? Well, this song came second. And there are quite a few people who do quite like this song. I would have preferred Made of Glass, to be honest. Or even Elsie Bay to a point. You love someone you hate. Oh yeah, this makes sense. I think when I don't think I ever did a kind of ranking, because I caught up with Australia quite late, like literally 1 or 2 days before the final. So I think I just watched them all and just said the songs that I liked, and this was one of the songs that stood out for me. Did this win the televote or the this came second, right? I don't think this would have done any better than Sheldon, because I know that there were 1 or 2 people saying in an alternative universe would this have done better. I don't think it would have done. This makes sense. There were some decent songs in Australia's national final, but this is certainly the one that, yeah, this one makes sense why it got the nod. Did it win the televote? I can't remember now. God, we're talking years ago, months. And make it through it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this song was in my top 58. There was a few songs in Estee Lauder that I quite liked this year, but for me, I would have given it to, is it Elise or Elise? Fire. Fire. I mean, Stefan was always my favourite in Estee Lauder. But do you know what? You know those OJ Eurovision fans, Anna, Charlene, Selena. There's going to be a few people in that OJ Eurovision fandom that are going to lap Anna up because she's already Eurovision royalty. This was my third favourite, third or fourth. I think it was Stefan, Elisa, and then it was Anna. So I like this song. This was in my top 58. I am a champion, warrior. Name. First of all, super excited about that. So this was my, what was it? My second favourite song this year? Or third favourite song on national finals? No, third, Shane, because it was Rigoberta, Made of Glass, yeah, Denise Boys. The reason why I've stopped it, I thought that they would do Ritmu. I'm surprised that they haven't gone for Ritmu, but I don't know whether also with this song contest, we're very, we've heard Ritmu a lot. And, you know, this song needs elevating because this song is so good. Good choice, because I mean, where did she finish in the end? 5th or 6th, Denise? I can't remember. But yeah, this song needs some recognition. So I'm super stoked they've picked this. It's an interesting choice. I thought they would have easily gone for Aiden's Ritmo. But I concur, because this was my favourite song of Malta's national final. This, then Aiden's Ritmo. Anyway, if you're a subscriber of my channel, you know that I'm obsessed with this song. My heart, say what's the price? Boy, with me in my eyes. Stone cold hearted, like a martini, vibes at the party. Luma all in. Luma all in. That needs some love. There was only like 3 or 4 songs that I liked in Slovenia's national final. This was one of them. I think this was my 4th favourite, I think it was definitely in my top 3 or 4. I have no idea why they did not pick Luma all in. That seems bizarre to me, but hey ho. It's got an amazing voice. Oh yeah. I'm having to like take my mind back now. What was my favourite in that? This was my 2nd favourite in this national. It was that really slow song. Is it something in the shadows or something? I really liked that song. I preferred this one, and is it in the shadow? I don't know. I may be making it up. Garden? There was a really slow song in this national final that I preferred over Andrea's Circles, but I feel bad saying that now because again, if you follow my channel, you know that I met her. Gave her a hug because I didn't have my phone to take a picture with. And I was like, oh, you're lovely. And then, even though the song never really powed for me, thinking about it now, that was probably the best song. And it nearly qualified, surprisingly to me. This song would not have done well. It's going to be interesting to see what North Macedonia do next year, because I was really underwhelmed with all 6 of their songs that they picked for their national final. Come on, North Macedonia. Your song in Junior Eurovision was my favourite this year. This song's giving me a headache. Yes! Well done, Lithuania. Yeah. This is like, where did this come in the end? I think this was in my top 5 songs of my top 40. I can't remember now. It's such a long time ago I did this video. I'm obsessed with this song. This song has aged so well. I listen to it all the time. I am kind of really happy that the majority of these songs are my favourite songs of the national finals. I mean, barring the ones that obviously won. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember anything from Dansk Melody Grand Prix. I don't remember. I remember people talking about this song, and I remember listening to it being like, yeah, it's okay. And then at the end of that reaction video, when I was like, my favourites, I couldn't remember that song. I mean, for me, the only song I liked was Ready, so I was really happy when Ready won, but I know there were a lot of people saying that this should have won. Who else did I like? I don't really think I really liked anything in Melody Grand Prix. There's none of them that I listened to. None of them made my top 58. Josie and Jack? That was a bit like Jason Mrazzi. That was all right. But I didn't listen to any... So this is the first time I'm seeing this. I haven't seen any of the live performances of Melody Grand Prix. Did I dance Melody? No, I don't think I did. Denmark, what are you going to do next year? Because literally every year I feel the quality and pool of songs get worse. This year, I mean, none of these songs are in my top 58 national finals, including this one. I'm familiar with this song. I will say San Marino, Romania and France were the 3 national finals I didn't engage enough with as much as I should have done for my channel. I didn't even do a ranking or reaction of France's national final. It must have been because it was in and around other ones. I just didn't have the time. The only song from this national final that made it into my top 40 in the end was Soa, but that was because other people were talking about it. And again, the Balkan guy, Ama, when we were in Serbia, made me listen to it because we were in Serbia when Fulen won, and he was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Soa didn't win. I was like, who's Soa? And he played me the song. I was like, oh, it's very good. But I am familiar with this song because a few people commented basically saying, check out this song, and someone said, check out this one, and I quite liked it. But I evidently didn't like it enough to put on a playlist because I don't remember it really. I'm just familiar with it. What I will say though, and what worries me slightly, someone put a jokey meme on Twitter basically saying because France took a risk with Fulen this year that they'll just go backwards and pick another kind of Frenchy sounding song. It'll be interesting to see where France goes next year in regards to what they select. I hope they keep this national final. There seems to be something successful within this national final, this format that they have. It'll be interesting to see where France goes next year with what they select. Oh, thank you, Mizia Eurovicja. That is him, isn't it? He's got another channel. He's Polish, where he actually does talk and react and review songs. Okay, interesting. So yeah, my job over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks is put those songs into a playlist, listen to them, and then work out my favourites, because some of those I haven't listened to for ages, and some of them I'm not familiar with. But I enjoyed that. That was good. That was good for a Sunday morning activity. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and if you are still with me, please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please do click the notification button so you're informed if and when I post videos, and yeah, until next time, stay safe.